Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner. Classics last non-classic. This is episode number 387 and Doubleshot number 311. Two Marvel trades. First up, it's Civil War II X-Men. Collecting the original 4-issue miniseries, well, for this one, which only came out just last year, plus plus Amazing Adventures Volume 2, issue number 9. This is just that is just a classic story from the 70s when Magneto fought them, and when I saw this again, I'm like, wow, really, man, he has so much changed since this story came out. I mean, I prefer the classic Garb, but good God, like, what the heck is this? Yeah, this is supposed to be Magneto. I mean, look at this. This looks so silly. And this is the 70s, mind you. Oh, I gotta point this out. Who's the writer of this? The writer of this is Jerry Conway, and the artwork is done by Mike Sikorsky. Sikorsky, I think it's how you pronounce the guy's name. Yeah, that's one thing quite interesting about this. Now, the thing with the Amazing Adventures when it was brought back in the 70s, it had a few different features in it. First, it was the Inhumans for the first 10 issues, with 8 of those issues having a Black Widow backup feature, and then from issues 11 to 17 it was the Beast, and then from 18 to 39 it was Kazar in the sort of a War of the Worlds type of story. Yeah, that's simply what it was. But reading the story again, yeah, I can see why. I actually kind of like Magneto's current attire a lot better. Or his like classic Jack Kirby attire, that silly attire that he wore in this. But this miniseries, well, it's not necessarily pointless in a way because it does lead into Inhumans for X. Actually, it's one of 2 series that leads into Inhumans for. Basically, this is actually the second of a trilogy of a series. First, it's Death of X because it takes place during the 8-month jump. Then you have this series, and then you have Inhumans versus X-Men. Yeah. That's simply the way you put it. And it's written by Colin Bunn. Yeah, seriously. It's written by Colin Bunn. With artwork by Andrea Barcucardo, I think it's how you pronounce it. I've heard some people saying that when this was coming out last year, this is actually better than Bunn's own Uncanny X-Men run. Yeah, this was actually better. One way, Greg Land was not in the artwork. And 2, the story is actually a lot more interesting than what was going on the pages of Uncanny at this point. And yet, this was only a 4-issue limited series. And that's one thing quite weird, though, because a lot of the miniseries, basically, even for the original Civil War, were generally, well, with the exception of Civil War Frontline, with the exception of that miniseries, generally every single miniseries in the original one basically was always 4 issues. This one is 4 issues, and for the last year's event, yeah, all of the miniseries were, in fact, 4 issues long. Which I'm like, huh. That's really short. And by the way, this trade is only $16. Yeah. So you get a 4-issue trade for $16. That's not bad per se. But look how thin this thing is. It's not that thin. I mean, it's not very long. It's just, well, it does pretty much, you can say this book is just set up for Inhumans versus X-Men. That's simply the whole point of this. I mean, yeah, it's a Civil War II tie, and it has a little bit to do with Civil War. It's very little. I mean, it's more dealing with, well, the upcoming, at this point, Inhumans vs. X-Men. Of course, now the crossover is concluded. And it got a mixed reception. I mean, my God, it was mixed. A lot of people hated it. They thought it was terrible. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was all that bad. It had great artwork. It had great writers, but it's just that the story wasn't all that good. I just think the story was okay. This was actually better than Humans vs. X because it was a good story. And by the way, this is actually one of 2 series to feature Gambit. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. After All New X-Men ended, Gambit was not seen again for over a year in comic books. No appearances by him anywhere. There wasn't a single comic appearance with him in it. And then he showed up in this miniseries and Gambit and wrote a Deadpool vs. Gambit. First 2 series he started, and of course recently he did all new Wolverine, and he's coming back for X-Men Gold, which is awesome. But yeah, Second series he appears in, surprisingly. He actually does a good chunk in here, which actually it's actually really good. Basically, it's just the title is called Civil War 2. It's basically kind of what the way it goes is that Magneto meets Ulysses in here, and Ulysses' vision, get this, is a civil war between the mutants, between Magneto's team and Storm's team, and the thing ends a bloodbath. And I love how Bund writes Ulysses in here. Basically, Ulysses thinks Magneto has come to kill him, and Magneto has no desire to kill Ulysses. He probably was kidnapped or something like that. But and of course, Magneto, when he tells Medusa, is like, yeah, I leave here perfectly fine, but next time, I'm an enemy. Okay. Thus leading instead of to Inhumans versus X-Men. This series is just well written, and it's not pointless, because, well, it does set up some stuff later on down the line. I consider this to be pretty good. I give this a 9 out of 10. I want to show some artwork before I move on to my next book. Yeah. It's really, really good. So Bund builds upon what was from the X-Men books and expands upon it here. Awesome. Looks pretty good. Next up is Deadpool and the Secret Defenders. I should point out, though, Deadpool is not in all the issues in this trade. This collects the last 11 issues of the series. Basically, it's issues 15 to 25, of the Secret Defenders series in the 1990s. The writers are Tom Belvort and Mike Kordovich, and illustrated by Jerry Dakari and Bill White. Deadpool's in the first 3 issues of this that are in here. He's only in issues like 15 to 17, and like that's it. There are various other characters in here as well. Of course, Dr. Druid, of course, when the series ends, leads to his 4-issue miniseries where he dies in the last issue and remains dead for almost 20 years. You also have in here, Bill Malik. The other characters who recruited the Secret Defenders are Cavalier, Iron Fist, Giant Man, Iceman, Angel, who take on Swarm, by the way. Last time I took on him was in the Champions book. Spider-Woman, Venom, U.S. Agent, Shadow Woman. No, seriously, the woman's called Shadow Woman. Let me show you what this character looks like. Now, we look at this woman. What do you see? Look at this. Look at this woman's costume. What do you see when you see that costume? That looks like the original Jessica Drew costume. I have no idea why she actually is wearing this costume, but later on she becomes the character Sculpture. And she's actually in every single issue. She, along with Dr. Drew, is in every single issue in this trade. Along with Venom, of course, U.S. Agent, Slaymaster, Cloak and Dagger, Deathlock, Drax. And also they featured the original 4 Defenders, Hulk, Silver Surfer, Namor, and Doctor Strange. And they reference what happened with New Defenders 21, with Defenders 125, where apparently if these 4 stuck together, basically the end of the world, the prophecy was later being true. They reference that toward the very end. Now, here's the strange thing about the series. Originally, Doctor Strange was in it, and then after issue 20, he gets dropped from the series for no reason, and the book is just focused on Dr. Druid. So you can kind of count this. I mean, the only reason why they put the name Deadpool on the cover is so this trade can sell. Because calling it Dr. Druid and the Secret Defenders, because the guy pretty much stars in all these issues in here, or heck, I wouldn't mind this is called Doctor Strange and the Secret Defenders. I wouldn't mind that either. But in case you're wondering who this guy is on the cover behind Luke Cage, okay, this is Dr. Druid. This guy is a character known as Strange. He's one of 2 characters now during the 90s, during the sources, during Doctor Strange Source Supreme title. He split himself into 2 beings. You have this character, which is known as Strange, which is actually the costume he wore back in the 70s when he was wearing a mask. That's who this character is. And there's another character called Vincent. They were basically Doctor Strange has split himself into two, and that's how this entity came about, and they sort of merged back into one. And that's that. Just wanted to get an explanation of who this guy is. Yeah, his name is Strange. He's just an entity. That's all he is. Also, there's one really cool cosmic character shows up in here. I gotta show him off. The Great Tribunal. Yes, the Great Tribunal shows up in here as well. Yep. Yeah, he shows up in here. Oh yeah, there was Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Strange Secret Defenders. Yeah, that was first 11 issues. I should point out, though, this is actually one of 3 trades to collect Secret Defenders issues. The other one, of course, was this trade here, Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme. And there was one other one that's not here. That one's called Thanos and his Secret Defenders, where it collects his issues, which is only 3 issues. I think it's like one or a book after that. But yeah, his group essentially just came together to find this one thing, and after the mission accomplished, his Defenders team disbanded. But yeah, they throw in Spider-Man here as well. Now, the Spider-Woman who's in here, it's actually Julie Carpenter, because since the late 70s up until 2005, Jessica Drew did not have her powers. She lost her powers after her series ended, or at least like nulling after her original series from the 70s ended. So they decided to have her. They decided to give the Spider-Woman moniker to Julie Carpenter, who became the second Spider-Woman and wore a carbon copy of Spider-Man's Black Steel suit, which she wore that for years. Heck, even when she stopped using the name Spider-Woman, using it Arachne, she still wore that costume. Currently, she's Madam Web. That's who she is currently, because the original Madam Web died. That's simply the whole point of it. This is good. I highly recommend checking this out. But also get the first 2 trades, which is Doctor Strange and the Secret Defenders, which collects the first 11 issues, and then you got Thanos and Secret Defenders, which collect issues 12 to 14. I highly recommend those. I haven't hands on those 2 trades yet, but I decided, though, I saw this was in the library. This was in when it came up for Deadpool. I figured, why not try it out and just review it. This is interesting. Interesting set of issues. If you're interested in checking out Defenders, or at least Secret Defenders, if you're a fan of Deadpool, I would recommend getting it. You're gonna be kind of disappointed because he gets dropped after the first 3 issues of the trade. Yeah. 10. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is episode 388, and it's going to be a single shot. I originally thought this was supposed to be a triple shot, but I had to have it to be a double shot instead. So I'll show you off the book in the next episode what I'm going to do with my single shot. Okay? Until then, I will see you there.